Today I'm here at Peninsula Piano Brokers in Palo Alto, California, with a piano that at first glance looks pretty but rather ordinary. However, when you learn the backstory behind it, you realize that this actually is not your ordinary upright piano. The brand of this is Schulze-Pollmann, and when you think of an Italian piano company today, of course, the one that comes to mind first for virtually all of us would be Fazioli. For those of us who know a little bit more about unusual pianos, you might also think of Borgato, although they hardly count because they only make 2 pianos a year. Throughout history, there have been various Italian piano makers here and there, but one of them that I never even knew existed was Schulze-Pollmann. This piano was made about 10 years ago, and I've been told by the owner of this shop that this piano actually was made virtually 100% in Italy. The action is Renner, so it's very high quality, but of course that wasn't made in Italy. But basically everything else in here, from the cabinet to all of the, it was completely assembled and built in Italy, which is amazing. So this cabinetry, as you can see, is very high quality. I especially like, I'll close this again, I especially like the little decorational bit here on this front panel. It reminds me of like a peacock's tail, and it's very cool, and you don't see that too often today. I have been told, though, however, that this name, Schulze-Pollmann, is actually still in existence, and while the cabinets are made in Italy, so therefore this exact theme actually is still made today, the guts of the piano are actually now made in China. So a modern Schulze-Pollmann, like made today, is not going to be the same piano that this one here is. Although this one isn't particularly old, so it still technically is modern because it's only 10 years old. Another cool feature about it that I like that you don't see every day in upright pianos, but it's still pretty common, is the lid design. Most upright pianos will do this, but not all upright pianos will do this. This is called a grand opening lid because it opens sideways like a grand piano, and it's even got the same kind of lid prop. It's mostly an aesthetic thing, but it also is an attractive way of leaving the lid of the piano open. A lot of upright pianos have like a flap on the top that opens and closes and doesn't look great when it's open. This looks a bit more stylish. I'll also take off this stylish front panel here to show you the inside of the piano, which also is quite attractive. So let me do that for you here too. And also what that will do is unleash more of the sound of the piano and make it sound even better. So when I go to record it, it will really sound fantastic. So here is the front panel removed of the Schulze-Pollmann, so now you can kind of see the inside workings of the action. You can see that the action says Renner, made in Germany, so that is kind of one of the components in here that is not from Italy, but I believe most everything else would be from Italy. So this is kind of cool. This is the Italian piano maker that you probably never knew existed. I've seen Schulze-Pollmanns before in stores, but I always just kind of made the assumption that they were a stencil brand and not really worth looking at. But it turns out that they once actually were something worth looking at. So today I am here with one of those such Schulze-Pollmanns, so I will review it for you guys here. Let's play some quiet stuff on this piano first, and then I'll play some loud music and test out the bass and see how well it does. But one kind of cool thing about it is it actually has good sustain, and it has a nice singing voice to it. So let's try something out that might demonstrate that for us. Interestingly, if there's one sonic characteristic about this that I would have to say reminds me of a Fazioli, it's actually the fact that there's not a lot of sympathetic resonance in the piano. It has good sustain and it has a nice tone, but if you listen to it when I hold the pedal down, the other strings don't vibrate in harmony as much with the notes that I just played as you would find in other pianos. Many upright pianos actually have a very resonant quality. This one actually doesn't. And I found that Fazioli is, of course, the other Italian piano maker that most of us would think of, generally don't have as resonant of a sound as other grand pianos. So I find that rather interesting that there is kind of a link to these that could just be happenstance, or perhaps it's something to do with the way the Italians build their pianos. Let's try some more music here. I'm going to play Bach's First Prelude and Fugue from the Well-Tempered Clavier, and we'll see how that goes on the Schulze-Pollmann. The action of this piano provides plenty of control to be able to play very quietly and also to use the subtle dynamics in the fugue to bring out the various melodies, so it does perfectly fine with that. But how would it do with playing something loud? Well, let's find out. I'll play a couple of different things here. Let's try something rather advanced and try a little excerpt of the third movement and see if it can really do those fast, precise movements and the subtle dynamics needed in that piece. In fact, did that pretty well. How about something else a little bit more like from the pop genre? While there's a few notes here and there that need a little bit of a tweaking as far as the tune is concerned, the actual tone of the bass is quite nice. Nice, fat, and solid sounding, especially for a 40 or so inch upright. I think it's 126 centimeters tall. That's the model name of the inside. It says 126E Classico. So that is the model name here of the piano, and it actually sounds pretty good to me for the size piano it is. And overall, it is a rather impressive piano. Another thing that's kind of cool is on the soundboard of the piano, it actually says made in Italy as well. And I've been told that the soundboard of this piano is made by the same company or sourced from the same area that Bösendorfer uses for their soundboard. So it's a very high quality soundboard in this instrument too, which is another reason why it has such a nice sound. There was something else I thought I wanted to say about this piano, but I can't remember what it was, so I think I will leave this video here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little review of the Schulze-Pollmann piano, a maker that I never really thought much of, but it turns out that they once were actually something. Today, like I said, the Schulze-Pollmann is simply a stencil brand. I believe the cases are made in Italy, but the internals are all from China, so they're not going to be as good as what you'd see here. However, once Schulze-Pollmann was cool, and this is one of those pianos. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, you might want to go check out my channel. I've got lots of cool videos of pianos, organs, keyboards, digital pianos, upright pianos, and all kinds of other neat stuff too. So if any of that sounds cool, you might want to go check out my channel. And if you want to subscribe, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.